coming. Mrs. Chevesky's a bit doped up because I had to get the doctor in because she was a bit, you know.
Aye. Aye, well, she would be, wouldn't she?
Well, what is it?
Well, we've found him.
Is he all right?
He's alive and kicking, love. They've taken him to the infirmary.
Where was he?
Yes, now, don't let this upset you. As I said, he's alive and kicking. They've taken him from the canal.
Oh, Mum, I knew it. He fell in. Right in.
Yeah, I'm afraid he did, Mrs. Tanner. The other side of the viaduct from here.
You mean that place where the other little lad got trapped? Oh, Mum. It's all right, love. You heard what he said. He is all right, isn't he?
Well, he's alive, Mrs. Tanner. That's all I know. But that's the main thing, isn't it?
Oh, bless you. I've said some rough things about coppers in my time, but bless you.
Well, it's nice of you to say so, love. But it's not us you've got to thank, I'm sorry to say. No, we just collected him after the fella that pulled him out rang us.
Who pulled him out?
It was a mercy who's passing by, it is. He's a lucky lad, Mrs. Chevesky.
I want to see him.
Well, the car will be here any minute now, love. We'll get there as soon as we can.
Yeah. Who pulled him out?
Well, this probably sounds a bit daft, but we don't know. He called us, waited till we got there, and then just vanished.
A reluctant hero.
That's right, love.
Oh, come on, don't just sit there. Get your coat on.
Oh, you're coming with me?
No, love, I don't think so. It wouldn't do if he came home to a cold house, would it?
I don't promise they'll let him straight back here, Mrs. Tanner.
All the same, I think I'd better stay. I mean, she should see him on her own.
Oh, well, I reckon somebody ought to go with her. She's had a prescription, you said.
A sedative.
Oh, well, she may have to make her own way back, you say.
All the same, I best...
I'll go. Would you like me to go with you? Will you tell Ken when he gets back?
Oh, well, that'll be the car. Well, I'll leave you to sort it out between you. Excuse me.
It's best that I stay here.
Yes, I'll go. I'll go get the things.
Hey, you've got my best coat on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, if nobody else is going to ask him, I am. What about the little lad, then?
Yeah, well, they've found him, Mr. Sharples.
They found him?
Fell in the canal.
Oh, only 5 years old. He was in the canal.
Yeah, they've taken him to the infirmary.
Poor little lad. Oh, I'm glad you've got
The car's just gone up the road to turn round, Mrs. Chevesky. It'll be back in a minute.
How is she?
Oh, she's a bit doped up. I'm going with her. Will you ask Hilda to keep the kids a bit longer?
Ah, of course you will, love.
Elsie's staying behind. She's on her own, then.
Oh, okay, thank you, love.
Here we are. Come on, off you go, love.
God bless you, love.
Don't worry
Keep your
yourself,
heart up. He'll be all right.
Look after him. He'll be
Don't
all
worry.
right.
Well, I reckon that's about it. Good night, everybody.
Good night, mate.
Good night, Mr. Hartley. Thank you very much.
Are you ready, love?
Yeah. He'll do his best, will Bobby Hartley.
Elsie thought the world of that kid, though. Why didn't she go with him?
She'll have her reasons, I suppose. Look, don't tell me you're shy going in there because I'm standing here. Because it'll be the first time within my living memory. You'll be telling me you want to hold your hand in a minute.
Mrs. Sharples, would you mind?
Well, it blowed.
No, he's not forced to be there, no. No, it's all right. Please don't bother. I'll phone again some other time. Thank you.
We've come to keep you company, love.
Yeah.
I was just trying to phone Ivan. I suppose I should have left it to Linda, but I just wanted to talk to somebody to tell them how thankful I was.
I'll put the kettle on, eh?
Sorry, Mrs. Sharples.
Now, there's nothing to be sorry for. No wonder you're both not out of your minds. Most other folks would have been... Took him out of the canal, did they? Well, something will be said about that, it's to be hoped.
Hey, we had a recce down there. Any idea where he went in?
Oh, sorry, Len, I don't remember.
You know, if we were to care about kids like we care about ourselves, this sort of thing wouldn't happen.
You get it at me, Mrs. Sharples.
No more than at anybody else if I'd have been had a said so.
Yeah, you would, wouldn't you?
Yes, at least you're not brazen about it. By gum, keeping kids right takes it out of you, doesn't it? Doesn't it, Len Fairclough?
Are you asking me, Mrs. Sharples?
Well, you brought one up, didn't you?
You've been talking about Stan. I know where I went wrong there.
Right, well, that's about as good a place as any to start making amends. You know, you've got this all wrong.
How do you mean?
Letting that little lad fall in cut his nabbit size of 2 penn'orth a copper.
Nobody let him fall in.
Didn't they? Well, they didn't put out any protecting arms to stop him, did they? And that's what fences are, protecting arms.
Fences cost money, Miss... Elsie, love, I didn't mean that.
No. We don't mean a lot of the things we say, but we go on saying them. Look, how much do we spend in a year on smoking and drinking and gambling?
Look, we've heard all this before, haven't we? But what happens? We still smoke, we drink more, and we gamble more. It's just human nature.
Oh. So it's human nature to let kids get killed on the roads and drowned in canals and all the other things that folks don't care about, is it? Well, if that's the case, I reckon it's time we started thinking about changing human nature.
Who do you think you are?
Me? I'm just an old woman that's seen far too much pain and suffering in the world and too little done about it. As that little lad, well, we knew him, so it mattered all the more. But supposing we hadn't known him, suppose he'd belonged to one of these specimens that doesn't give tuppence for their kids.
If we all looked after our own, we wouldn't have all this interfering, would we?
I was looking after me own, wasn't I, Len? I was a minute late. So somebody had to jump in the canal and fish him out. I wouldn't call that interfering.
No, love, but I know what he means. You know, this is where we ran into trouble in voting time. When we think of the kids and all the others in the world that nobody cares about, and we think about all those that care and don't. And the Lord said to Cain, "Where is thy brother Abel?" And he said, "I know not. Am I my brother's keeper?" And you know what makes it worse? When we do something we think's right, and nothing happens.
Yes, well, all's well that ends well, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I'm not so sure that it is, Mrs. Walker.
In what way do you mean, Mr. Tetlock?
Well, I mean, I'm not so sure that it has ended yet. We don't know how he is, do we?
Well, he's alive, and that's the main thing.
Well, yeah, I'm not denying that. Have you any idea what gets chucked into that cut?
And a mum's old ringer for one thing, eh, Dad?
Yeah, they said nothing of poison chemicals from factories lower down and a few dead dogs and cats. How would you like to get a mouthful of that?
Oh, well, really, Mr. Tetlock?
Well, it can't be any good, can it? Like I'm going home to my bed. Gets you down as a thing like this when you get to my age.
Ah, he's an old misery guts.
I know he always has to shove his oar in, doesn't he?
Why shouldn't he shove his oar in? He's right, isn't he? Well, isn't he?
Right about what?
About cut. It's a dumping ground for oat, is that?
Well, whose fault is that?
Well, yours for one. You dumped your white old ringer in there, Herman just said so.
What else could I dump it?
Well, you could have given it to the midden men to take, couldn't you? It's their job,
They
isn't
never
it?
taken it.
Well, did you ask them?
Well, no, but...
Oh, pick on somebody your own size.
Hey!
Mary. She was running rings round you, honestly. It's the cut, isn't it? What's all the excitement about?
Oh, it just makes me mad, that's all. It just makes me mad when an old fella says something that's right and all he gets is funny faces, old misery and good riddance from folks who won't face up to things.
Hey, hang on a bit. Mate, he's off.
Well, I'm surprised at you and all. I thought he was a mate of yours. You just sit there letting him get at him because he's an old fella who happens to ramble on a bit.
Hey, cool down, Jake. Well, what are you drinking?
I'm all right, thanks.
Have an half in there.
I'm all right, thank you.
Hey, I've just seen one of my mates who works in a factory and she lives on Bessie Street. She said they're all talking about it around there. There were a crowd of police
Did
come.
you say where they found him?
Yeah, that's dressed the other side at Viaduct.
You're wanting to know how he is, he's all right. Elsie Tanner's just phoned. They're keeping him in for 24 hours for observation.
Well, now, what did I say?
I don't know. What did you say, Mrs. Wolfe?
Well, it was before you came in, actually, Mrs. Sharples. We had a slight difference of opinion with Mr. Tatlock.
Oh, I thought I saw him going on with his tail between his legs. What did you say to Mr. Tatlock?
Well, I simply said, all's well that ends well, and it is, of course, isn't it?
Are you asking me or telling me?
I'm merely stating what is quite apparent.
I see.
she's to go back. He said he'll sleep all night. I'll send her up to bed.
Best place.
Oh, I shan't be long out of here, as if I've been up for a week.
I'm getting past late nights and all. It must be old age creeping on, I think.
Oh, it's all right for you. I'll know who'll look the youngest of us in 10 years' time between you and me.
You always look 16 to me, darling.
Oh, you can kid yourself there, Clough, if you like, but you don't kid me. It'd be very nice if it was true, and so would a lot of other things.
Look, I'm going to Rover's, my love. Do you want a drink or something? Shall I bring you one back?
No, I don't think so. Madam's got up.
All right, now don't start going at me. I just can't go to sleep this early.
You have had a pill, you know.
Oh, that stopped working hours since. What time is it, by the way?
10:10. Do you know the exact place where he went in?
Yeah, at the other side of the viaduct. End of Gas Street. There's some fencing down or something. Do you know it?
No, I'll never get down that end.
You had a point, though, J-Lab. Ah, you had a point. He's a flaming menace, that cut, I'll tell you. He's not the first lad falling there, either. And what's the council doing about it, eh?
Well, you don't need to ask that, do you? They'll be waiting, won't they?
Waiting for what?
Waiting while somebody gets drowned. What usually happens, isn't it? Yeah, they're like a lot of old women, some of them. You know, it must be like trying to drive a 8-foot bus through a 6-foot gap for them as does try and get things done.
Well, why don't you get on the land, get stuck into him like you get stuck into us?
No. Well, I try to keep off talking about council to him. Well, he keeps taking these bits of time off for these meetings and that. And if I say out about council, he thinks I'm going on at him. And he's naughty enough as it is.
Hello.
Everything all right down there?
Ah, they've just gone off to bed.
Oh, she's back then.
Aye. Hey, don't put the towels up before you pull me one, will you?
No. Right, Gomer, it was in a sad house tonight with that if things had been different. Hey, they're saying in it was the other side at Viaduct. Did she say where it happened?
No. No, she didn't.
Chip. Hey, Kevo, where's me dinner? Oh, where's your missus? She up shopping. You can have one.
Ah, you're a gentleman. I've always said you're a
I've
gentleman.
said one, not a flipping handful.
I'll remember you when you're old and grey, eh?
Well, I mean, when I'm old and grey. I'm old and grey now, after.
Oh, and the robins came and covered them with leaves.
How is he?
Oh, fine. Everything back to normal again. Madam snapping back at me.
All run done with, eh?
We're coming home this afternoon.
Hey, does Ivan know about this? Him going in the cotton?
No, she's been putting off telling him. She's on the phone now.
Look, there's no need. No, you can come home at the weekend like you was going to. Look, I've told you 20 times. Of course he's all right. No, my mum was fetching him from school. What do you mean, where was I? Well, as it so happens, I was on the telephone to you, wasn't I? Look, I think this conversation's gone far enough. Yes, well, all right then.
Your mother told me I could come in.
Yes, well, come in, Mr. Tatlock.
I brought him a comic.
Oh, thanks.
I hope it's not too old for him. I mean, kids grow up so fast these days, don't they?
No, it's fine, thanks.
Have you seen him yet?
Yeah, I just got back. I'm going to fetch him at 3 o'clock.
He's all right, is he?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, you mean it shook him up a bit? Aye, well, it would, wouldn't it?
Well, he wasn't talking as much as he usually does. I couldn't get out of him how it happened and that.
No, well, happen Elsie might.
I don't see why she could if I can't. I mean, I am his mother, aren't I?
Yes, that's right, yes.
When I went in, he looked at me and then he looked away as if... It's a funny world to bring kids up in, isn't it, Mr. Tatlock?
Aye, it always has been. I remember when I were a kid, they used to say that there's not wrong with world, it's just folks what's in it.
You was an old fellow when me and our Dennis went out were a couple of mucky kids sitting on the step waiting for our mum to come home, weren't you?
Yeah, steady on a minute, I'm not all that old. Well, happen I am, but I don't like being reminded of it.
There's folks round here would say we was dragged up. that we lived in the chippy. There were always stray fellas coming in and out. Some might want that bad. You know, I don't hold it against her, really.
Well, you know, she's got a big heart as your mother. She's had to fight against her nature.
It's not that she fought that hard, mind you.
Plus, I may be wrong. Folks are always telling me that I look back through rose-coloured glasses, but I seem to remember when I was a little lad there were plenty of loving kindness about. You see, it's only what you and Dennis think what matters.
I just wish he hadn't looked at me like that, that's all. He was thinking I'd let him down. I know he was.
Look, you don't want to jump to conclusions. He's only a little kid.
Kids know more than we think they do, Mr. Tatlock.
Well, I don't know what it's called. Here, I'll show you. There it is. What's that called?
Half Nelson.
Yeah, that's right. And then if you go like that, isn't that a full Nelson?
Yeah, but if you don't break me neck.
Oh, the athletic Barlow family.
Thanks. Are you sure you've done?
Just a minute, don't I know you? Aren't you one of them fellas from the Gazette what wrote about me husband?
Full marks, Mrs. Barlow. It's nice to be remembered.
Oh, I know, but it depends what you're remembered for, doesn't it? You know, you're putting your head in the lion's den coming round here. My husband still talks about you lot, and it's not very nice to listen to.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry about that. But I was just doing a job, you know.
You caused a lot of trouble between him and his brother, you know. I know, don't tell me you was just doing your job. Well, what is it this time, Cassandra?
You got the name wrong.
Have I? Oh, I am sorry. I'm shocking with names, you know. Was it Willie or Mickey?
It's John Meakin, actually. And I'm doing a story about a little lad who fell into the canal last night.
Oh, well, it's no good asking us because we wasn't there, was we?
Oh. Why, I heard down Bessie Street that he was running away from home.
Ain't that just Bessie Street all over, eh? They like that down Bessie Street, you know, not interested in a straight story. They always have to dramatise it.
Well, you'd say it wasn't true, then?
Well, if you promise not to let on where it come from, I'd tell you what happened.
Hey, kid.
No, he's only doing his job, aren't you, love? Right, well, I think you better take it down then in that shorthand. You know, they'll come out when they read this in the paper. Still, it serves them right, doesn't it?
Hang on a minute.
He weren't running away from home. He just didn't like school, you see.
He didn't?
Do you mind who's telling this story? Right, are you ready?
Yeah, could you just give me his name and age?
Yes, it's Paul Cheveska.
It's 5.
5?
And, well, it was like this, you see. He fell madly in love with this girl who thought that he was after her money. So she decided to break it off. And then he decided to end it off.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Barlow.
You're quite welcome. Oh, just a minute. While you're here, can't we interest you in something? We've got these lovely tin raspberries.
Yeah, thanks all the same. Oh, and thanks for the help.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Ta-ra, love. Oh, the poor fella, wasn't he? Awful.
What'd you do it for, then?
You're joking. If David found out, I'd be nice to any of that lot, he'd kill me.
He has a dolly of a time, this fellow, Mrs. Walker, I'll tell you.
What do you mean, me?
I'm not sure that I understand you, Mr. Rosen.
Spoiled to death, I'll tell you.
Ah, you're joking. Who spoils me?
Our but don't say so, because I know she does. She's first up in the morning, brings him tea in bed,
God, it's the other way around, you mean?
shines his shoes.
Listen, it's me that gets up in the morning and makes the tea every flipping morning.
Thanks, mate. That's just what I want to know. You owe me 5 bob.
You what?
5 bob.
How do you make that
I'll
out?
take you back just over 12 months ago, just after you got wed. We had a bet in here, a 5 bob bet, and I've got witness to prove it. You'd be taking a tea in bed before 12 months was up. You excuse the first few weeks, because we all do it then.
You crotty monkey.
5 bob.
Hey, hang on.
Never mind changing the subject.
Yeah, it's one of them fellas from the Gazette that wrote the article about me. Wonder who he's snooping after this time.
5 bob.
All that rubbish they printed, they never even asked me.
Half a butter, please, then.
Yes.
Empties. So I see, Mrs. Sharples. I hope they're all ours.
Well, I wouldn't have gone to the bother of carting them round here if they hadn't been.
Yes, but you're surprised how many do.
I'm not talking about how many, I'm talking about me.
Mrs. Sharples?
Oh, it's you, Weatherfield Gazette. Hey, you spelt Mrs. Eckersley's name wrong in this week's. There's an E before the Y.
Oh, it was my story, too.
Ah, well, we're none of us perfect.
I thought you might be able to help me.
Well, I doubt it, but you can try me. Go on.
I'm after some details about a little lad from the street who fell into the canal last night.
I see.
Know anything about it?
Oh, yes, I know quite a lot about it. The grandmother's a close personal friend of mine.
Oh, good.
You can put that away for a start. There's been enough bother in that house without you barging in and causing more.
Oh, I've certainly no intention of causing any trouble, Mrs. Sharples.
I dare say. And I have certainly no intention of giving you the chance. How much is it on the empties?
Now, let me see. You brought me 1, 2, 3. Right, the gentleman played for your drink.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing. There's no beer as Kittle's been a reporter, is it, eh?
And what's that for?
Well, he'll want a woolly, won't he?
Yeah, well, he won't want 3.
Oh, well, choose which one yourself, then, madam. Oh, I'll go.
Yes. Hello, I'm from the Weatherfield Gazette. I've come to see about the little lad down in the canal.
All right, let's come in. It's a young fella from the newspaper about our Paul.
What about him?
No, it's all right. It's just a story. You see, there've been 1 or 2 cases on that stretch of the cut, and it's getting just a bit notorious.
You think you can do something about it?
Well, if you shout long enough and loud enough, there's a chance, I suppose.
Yeah, well, what do you want to know? Look, I've got to go and fetch him. I'm in a bit of a hurry. Can you come back later?
Well, I could run you in and we could talk on the way, if that's any use.
Oh, suits me.
Oh, well, I'm too late then.
What do you mean?
He knows what I mean.
Well, are we ready then?
Yeah, sure.
Never take no for an answer, do you?
No, Mrs. Sharples.
Brazen-faced young monkey.
What's so, Mrs. Sharp?
She wants to be careful what she says to him, I'm telling you.
Well, he's only come about our Paul, and that's no secret, is it?
Hiya. I can't find about my son-in-law dinner time.
Let the little beggar out. I finished up at Jackson's. I've just come back from the lab.
Hey, I can't
get straight on that bit of
David, you know. 5 bob.
How do you do, Mr. Ogden?
Hey, that building's 3 years old. It's coming down.
You what? It's more than that. And you want to try telling her that. Says it's all cod. Says that they were saying the same thing 20 years
Look,
back.
why don't you chuck it up for a bit? I've got the cards.
You what? It's not 4 o'clock yet.
Well, you're your own bosses, aren't you?
Will you tell him or will I?
Mr. Ogden, would you mind?
You want me to hop it, don't you?
Look, we love you very much, Stanley, but we've got our earnings to make.
I can take an hint.
So we'll see you later then.
I know, but I'm not wanted. I can take an hint. Ta-da.
Well, I'll have to fix up that wall for old Mrs. Thompson or what, then?
Eh? Oh, yeah, carry on. Yeah, make it a good job, but not fancy, you know.
Ah, that's what I thought.
Hey, Jerry. I'm in trouble.
Oh, I thought there was something, but I didn't like to say out like.
It's young Paul Cheveski, you know, falling in the canal like that. We had a tender in. We had a few tenders in for that bit. You know, the fencing along there? We referred them back. It's 5 to 1 against.
Oh, I see.
If we hadn't voted against it, he wouldn't have fallen in, would he?
Oh, now, come on. You're stretching it a bit, aren't you? Look, I mean, you can't just go around blaming yourself. Why did you get them referred back, anyway?
Well, it was a sort of a get-together, you know. I mean, you know it happens and I know it happens, but it was ridiculous. It was way out of the question. I had to say something. In fact, it was me that persuaded the other 4.
Well, of course you had to say something. It stands to reason.
Will Elsie look at it like that?
Oh, come off it. The little lad's all right, isn't he? If he wasn't, I dare say she might be looking for somebody to blame. I'd still have a word with her, though, before somebody else tells her.
I think you're right, Jerry boy. I'll go and see her when we finish, eh?
Well, we've finished, be beggared. You get off now. Well, I mean, we are his own bosses, aren't we?
I'll pop back after, because I'd like to see him.
Oh, I'll eat him when he gets home. You know, I'll murder Alina. She's half an hour late already.
You know what your trouble is, don't you? Once you start, you can't stop worrying, can
You know
you?
me inside out, don't you?
I'll see you later.
Yeah, try. Oh, it's you.
Oh, thank you for the big welcome.
Oh, I know. I was expecting Linda and Paul to be back in a minute.
Elsie, I want a word with you.
You know, A murderer. They should have been here half an hour ago. My watch is right. Hasn't got funny as it's just gone 4.
It's just gone 4, yeah. Elsie,
Look, would it be daft if I rang the hospital? Yeah, it would be daft, wouldn't I? You know, I've gone right funny about that phone ever since we started having all... What did I tell you? Yes, hello. Mrs. Tanner speaking. Is she? Yes, I will. Well, didn't you say why? I see. Thank you. It's Linda. Message. She wants me to take her night things. They're not coming home.